Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here with another Friday Reads. I've had a great reading week. I finished reading Kindred by Octavia Butler, joining in a book group tonight with my local indie bookstore, and I can't wait to talk about it. It was an amazing book, just completely blew me away. I stayed up way too late every night reading it. Could hardly stand to set it down. Just an amazing, gripping story, but also so raw and powerful. So highly recommend Kindred by Octavia Butler. I don't know why I waited so long to read it. It's been on my list for years. And currently, I'm reading another book group book, The Editor by StephenRowley. This is for my neighborhood book group, which meets next week. There's a lot of book group meetings coming up. And very, very different from Kindred, which I just finished. This is the story of an author whose first novel has been selected for publication by a big New York publisher. So he's very excited about that. His agent told him to show up at the publishers. He's nervous and excited. And then Jackie Kennedy Onassis walks in the room. So this is set in the 90s. And it turns out she is his editor. And I guess this is based on truth. That Mrs. Onassis, as she likes to be called here, did work in the publishing industry in New York in that time period after her second husband had died. And it's just kind of a surreal situation for this new author who knows nothing about publishing. It's his first time going through the process. And Jackie Kennedy Onassis is his editor. So there's plenty of humor here as, he adjusts to working with her and seeing her as a normal person. But there's also lots of emotion here too, because his novel, it's a novel, but it's clearly a fictionalized account of the relationship between him and his mother. Of course, his mother's not at all happy about this, that he's written about them. It is fiction, his novel, but, his editor recognizes immediately that it's based on real life. So there's the situation with him working with Mrs. Onassis to get his book edited and published. But then there's kind of the story within the story as he's editing this book, this novel based on his relationship with his own mother. And in real life, what's happening with his mom. So it's kind of a story within a story. And I'm not very far in yet, but I'm really enjoying it. Definitely a lot lighter than my last read, but it's fun and it's interesting. And, like I said, there are layers of emotion there as well. So that's The Editor by StephenRowley. I am trying to fit in one last book for Black History Month on audio. I chose a middle grade novel. I'm pretty sure it's middle grade that I think, that I thought fit and that I'm hoping I can finish by next Monday. So the book is called Behind the Mountains by Edwidge Dendicott. I'm trying to get the pronunciations right here. It's set in Haiti. So pronunciations are always a bit of a challenge for me, but I have been listening to it on audio. So I'm trying to get it right. So Behind the Mountains is a first-person narrative. It's a novel, but written in the first person by a young girl who lives in Haiti. And she and her mother and older brother, Moy, her name is Celian, and she and her mother and her older brother, Moy, who's 19. So I think Celian is maybe about 13 or so. I'm not sure her age has been mentioned, but they live in a rural area in the mountains of Haiti, in a little town called Beaujeu. Not bonjour, but Beaujeu, like a beautiful day. So they live there. She goes to school. She's very smart. She's the top student in her class. And her teacher gives her as a gift a notebook for her to write in. So she begins writing a journal. And that's what the book is. It is her first person narrative as it happens, as she's writing in her journal. So she and her mother, her brother's away training to be a tailor, and she and her mother go down the mountain into the city of, I'm not going to be able to say it the right way, the way they say it in the book, but Port-au-Prince, to visit her aunt. And while they're down there, there's a lot of political strife going on around upcoming elections, and it's turned into violence. So after their visit, she and her mother are trying to get back home. They get on like a little minibus for the ride back toward their village, and the bus is bombed. And she and her mother are both injured in the bombing. So Celian's father is in New York, in Brooklyn, where he's been for the last 5 years, trying to earn enough money to support his family. So they do have a small farm up in the mountains, but he's sending money back home. They're all very sad to be separated. They want to be together. And Celian and her mother, and I think her brother too, have all applied for visas to join her father. And they're just waiting for their visas to be approved. And then this bombing happens. They're injured. Things are just really getting more and more dangerous in Haiti, and particularly in the city. So where I am in the book right now, they are still in Haiti, but they've just gotten word that they may be able, no, I'm trying to remember what I just listened to last night. Their visas were just approved, and they're getting ready to travel to New York for the first time and to join her father there. So this first half of the book has all been based in Haiti, and it's been fascinating. This first person account of what life is like there. And now they're traveling to New York, and it's going to become an immigration story about Celian's, her traveling to New York, joining her father, and the rest of the family coming with her, and about their adjustment from life in a small rural village in Haiti to life in New York, in Brooklyn. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens next. I am loving this audiobook so far. The descriptions, the setting, it's all very vibrant and alive. It's wonderful to hear all of this first person from Celian herself through her journal. I'm just really enjoying it. So that's Behind the Mountains by Edwidge Dandicat. Definitely recommend it. I'm hoping to finish it before the end of the month and count it for Black History Month. But whether I do or not, it's definitely a worthwhile listen. Wonderful book. And I would love to hear what you're reading. What do you plan to read this weekend? Let me know in the comments down below.